If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tipp Today on 1-800-938-007.
Now, let us dream. Let us forget about COVID for a bit. Let us dream about holidays and travel. And I'm delighted to be joined now from the Travel Tales with Fergal podcast by Fergal O'Keefe himself. Good morning to you, Fergal.
Good morning. How's it going?
It's going very well indeed. We expect a lot from you every week, Fergal. We expect you to take us away from all of the trials and tribulations that we're suffering at the moment. You're going to talk to us about the Greek islands.
Yeah. Do you know, I read an article the other day and it kind of surprised me that it was tour operators and they were saying that Greece is now, people are looking at Greece and looking for information about Greece more than they are about Spain or Portugal. So, and my guess is that is to do with COVID, because say last summer they seemed to get, they did very well. Tourism is such a massive part of the country, huge part of their economy, so they've been very careful there. So I think that's probably what it is, You
have lovely memories yourself of Greece, because was it your first holiday with your wife?
Yeah. I say it's my first adult holiday, so just out of college, and I remember myself and Emer, who's my wife now, she was my girlfriend at the time, and we went to Athens and got the boat then off to the islands and did island hopping. It was a bit more relaxed then. So when we did it, it was literally nothing booked. So it literally went to the islands, and when you got off the boat, there would be people standing there with accommodation, pictures of their accommodation, and you'd pick the person that you like the look of or accommodation, and off you'd go with no worries.
Yeah.
So I loved it so much, and always said I'd love to go back. So I've sort of been waiting for the kids to be old enough to be able to do that trip, and we did that a couple of years ago. We went back with the kids, and it was as magical, I have to say. And it was great for the kids from the point of view of it gave them a bit of independence. So everybody had to pack because we were going to be taking ferries. So everyone had to have a little rucksack with their own clothes in it, and it was very cute watching them. Very good.
So, that must have been a magical part of it as well. What is special about Greece as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I would say so. It is the people are lovely. They're really gorgeous, very similar to the Irish, and very friendly. Obviously, the weather, the beaches, and the food is very simple but gorgeous. And again, it's that, and they're so geared up for tourism. So it's that thing of the ferries being able to go from island to island, and they're so set up for it. So it's really got everything going for it, I have to say. It's part of the trip, sort of when you get the boat, and kind of I always think it's a lovely way of arriving by land, arriving by boat into the harbour and all the activity. It's a lovely way of arriving.
Right, because the scenic, I would imagine. Yeah. From the point of view of culture, of course, I mean, those wonderful landmarks that we all know, even if we never visited Greece, it must be amazing to be there.
It really is. I love history, and so for me, that's another reason, I suppose, why I love it so much. Like particularly Athens, and it's a gorgeous and I recommend people to actually spend a couple of days if they go to Greece. Normally, you fly in directly to Athens, either at the start or the end of the holiday. Spend a few days in Athens because it's a very safe town. It's great value. But obviously with the history, it's the oldest capital in, I think, the world. So,
the Acropolis, I presume.
Yeah. Yeah. And some great museums. So, the Parthenon, the Acropolis, and some theatres, old ancient theatres, which have shows every night. And then there's loads of museums as well. So it's a great one to combine history with, eating, and then there's great restaurants as well. So really is a spectacular city to spend a few days in. Really recommend it.
The Cyclades then, Fergal.
So they're gorgeous. So, you get the ferries, the ferry place. You can either, just say if you're flying in, you can actually get from the airport, you can go directly to the port. And I'd recommend you can pre-book. It's very easy to book like these ferries. And those islands, they're very popular with Irish people. There's Paris and Naxos, Santorini, Mykonos, Yes, there's over 200. So they're the ones sort of Irish people know, but there's great variety there. So Naxos and Paris are very relaxed. Naxos is great for families. I mean, literally the length of the island, it's one beautiful beach going into the other with loads of accommodation along the beach, but not, overdone, very nicely done. So I would say Naxos for families, absolutely gorgeous. And another thing is you don't need a car for this holiday, If you get the ferry, you can just hop off and it's very easy to get around, So there's no need of that expense then of a car. And then Paris is just absolutely gorgeous. And there's some lovely towns, like on the other side of the island, a place called Noosa, which is a little fishing village. And really, I'd really highly recommend those two islands. And then for other people, if they're more interested in, the sort of the image that everybody has of Greece is those whitewashed towns with the blue roofs, and that's Santorini. So Santorini, it wouldn't be the cheapest, but there is a direct flight now going. Just started. It was started last year, but not much happened there. But it'll be going again this year, directly from Dublin to Santorini.
And it's a real romantic sort of a...
Oh, it's a real... I mean, the town is absolutely gorgeous. It's on an old volcano, and it's famous, world famous for its sunsets. And it's, it's very famous, like loads of little hotels. And it actually would be a good base to actually go to a couple other, like Mykonos is sort of known, Mykonos and Ios are known as the sort of party islands. I mean, I remember when I was younger, Ios was called Ireland Overseas, so it's popular with younger Irish for going away. Mykonos is obviously a famous one for being a...
So daily flights during the peak season, I guess, is it?
Yeah, flights, Ryanair and Aer Lingus are flying out there, and directly to Athens, and then there's also now this new route to Santorini, which could get you directly there, so it would skip the time on the ferry, so that is a recommended one.
Have they recovered, Fergal, from that huge financial crash, indeed, because they suffered more than most,
They did, but that's maybe what I was there now, so I've been there a couple of times now in the last few years, but they're so resilient. They've gone through so much. I mean, they're the inventors of democracy, so they really have come through it, and the city is thriving now. It really is, like Athens. There's a lovely atmosphere there. You'd feel very safe, and the people, they're quite stoic. They sort of just they got. I suppose a bit the way Ireland was, really, isn't it? Like they just got through it. Yeah. And there would be a little. When you're talking to people, there would be a bit of animosity towards, I suppose, EU or
I can imagine, yes,
or Germany, because they were quite tough with them. But it has helped the country financially. I do think, you know what I mean, because the way they were going before the crash wasn't sustainable, really.
Well, you've certainly whetted my appetite for Greece, because I've never been. What about your travel tales, Fergal? You're resuming, aren't you, early next month?
I am. Yeah. So next Tuesday, it's going back again, and I'm really looking forward to this one coming out. It's a ski special, so I have loads of people talking about skiing. So I've got enthusiasts, I've got experts talking about the season ahead, and après-ski as well. So I'm covering the whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's Tuesday, the 2nd of February. And to coincide with that, next week I'm going to talk about ski resorts and skiing for next week. So we might have snow here in Ireland ourselves next week.
Well, there you go. You never know, do you, from one day to the next. Listen, we wish you well, Fergal, and thank you so much indeed for today, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you. Excellent. Good morning to you. Bye-bye. That's Fergal O'Keefe there of Travel Tales with Fergal, whetting our appetite when we can travel, by the way. We're not pushing people towards airports or anything, but it's nice to dream, isn't it? Our competition winner for today is Mairead from Kerr. We don't have a second name for Mairead, but we will be in touch with her. That's it from me for today. Thanks to Doc, who was producing today along with Alison. Stephen is coming up with the Time Tunnel, and I'll be with you tomorrow. Look after yourselves in the meantime, won't you? Bye-bye now.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today with Fran Curry.
In association with Slattery's of Puckane, Tipperary's main Peugeot dealer. Slattery's Garage Puckane, the name you can trust for over 50 years in the Premier County. Slattery'sGarage.ie.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tipp Today on 1800 938 007.
Now, let us dream.